Morning, guys. I wanted to show this this map thing I was talking about on yesterday's video about true shape or true size of the Earth, of the continents. And I just want to go through world maps. They're all very similar in terms of what they show, and you guys are familiar with these. But just to remind you, one thing I'm going to start with, I'm going to look at the size of Africa versus the size of Russia. Okay. So look at how they're depicted on every map, and look at the different sizes, and you'd say yeah, Russia is definitely way wider than Africa. I think anyone can see that. That's sometimes it's like 1/3 or 1/2 the size of Russia. Sometimes it's a little bit larger, but you know, there's a lot of variance. And then if we looked at what NASA gives us, let me show you this. Okay, so I'm on NASA.gov site, and of course they won't actually show you all side-by-side images of Earth. They make this site very painfully difficult to navigate because of course these are smoking gun proofs that they're lying. But here's one, for example, where you've got Africa, Egypt, right there, that they're showing. And now let's show what else there. You know, I don't know what year that is, but once you put all of the images that NASA gives us side by side, I want to show you how differently they're represented. Okay, so here is a bunch of different ones all side by side. So here we have America in 1997, taking up that much of the globe. And then here we have America taking up an entire section of the globe. So even when they're showing us of these images of Earth, we see that the continents have just grown and swollen. Maybe they're like those little pills you put in water, and they expand in water, and the continents have grown. I don't know what kind of continents we got. Maybe they're growing and shrinking. Right, or maybe they're full of shit. Look at America over here. Look at the size of how squatty it is, and look at this one. Okay, 2012 versus 2007. Now again, in the NASA site, you're not going to find all these, but these are all NASA images, and even the blue marble that they had on every iPhone. The guy who made it said, "Yeah, these are just photoshopped. They take different pictures and they layer them together." So they're even admitting that this is computer generated imaging. People have taken time to look at the clouds and see that the clouds have been conjured. One of them spelled sex in the middle of the clouds, just like a Disney movie that has like these weird crash things mixed in. This like the sickness of these people that they do this kind of thing. But let me go to the map. I want to show you something now. Okay, so I want to show the distance between places. So I'm just going to pick an arbitrary spot in Africa, and I'm going to measure distance. So I click measure distance, pan back out. Okay, so I'm almost down the coast there, and I'm going to measure across Africa. I'm going to get 4,519 miles. Okay, so remember that number, 4,519 miles. Now let's compare that to Russia. So I'm going to go backwards on that, X that out, and then I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to go measure distance. Right? Now we're going to go all the way across Russia. How long do you think this is going to be? Okay, to the edge of Russia, 4,000 miles. All the way over to here, 4,000 to France, 4,500. Okay, so we're at the same. So do you guys realize that this distance across Africa is as much as this distance all the way across Russia to France? Proving that these countries have been inflated. And we know that this representation of our Earth is drastically off. Like anyone can see that, and it's not conspiracy stuff. It's just reality. If you were a crow flying across this country, you'd go, "Oh yeah, that's a," like they know. They're like, hey, if we're migrating across this or walking across this in a straight line, this is the same as that. Now, let me show you another app I've got. Not an app. Let me show you the true size of things. This is really wow. And it's a really annoying site that doesn't really want to let you move and shows ads all the time. So trying to just let it resolve here a bit. I'll pause. Okay, so there's Russia in green. Okay, this is the size of Russia. Now, if this is called the true size of things, so if we're going to compare one to the other, they're showing that Russia is actually not nearly as big as they're making it out to be. Okay, so this is Russia, but actually in mileage, it's small. Let me do the same thing with the U.S. If I take the U.S. and put it over, look at how small it is in compared to Africa. Let's put the U.S. over Australia. Now, these two countries, they're the same width, 3,000 miles across. And look at that. Now, Greenland. Let's bring Greenland down and put it over Africa. Look how tiny Greenland is. Greenland is actually about the size of Alaska. When you look on the map, it looks giant. Right? Well, it's not giant. India, put it over here. India is not that big. China, where is China? There is one there. I think that's China. You know, this is the size of China. And look at Africa. Africa is massive, right? South America. This is a big country, too. So all the northern ones are actually smaller than they're shown to be, much smaller, and the southern ones are more or less accurate, because of course we're on a flat Earth, and so the lines of latitude do come in. But out there, they're wide because there's, it's a piece of pizza. It gets wider as you go out. But this is why all these countries, they're lying about it. So here's Canada, okay? Big old Canada. Look at how small it is in comparison to Africa. Amazing. This does a few things for me. I go, they're lying about the size of the continents. And once you know that, I got a phone call. All right, so I think where I left off was saying, knowing that the size of these continents is so drastically different than what we're shown, leads me to believe that we don't really know what we live on. We don't really know what's north. We don't really know, like, we're just believing. We're always believing what they tell us. And so even with these measured distance, like I know in America, if I drive over from my home to Florida, like I know I'm going to be going 2,000 miles, right? So there are some things that we do know, but once we get out into the ocean, I was thinking about just a second. I was thinking about measuring the Pacific Ocean. If you're at sea, how do you know how far you're going when there's no landmarks? You just have water. You end up having a really unchartable distance. And even factoring speed, you see how you're kind of like outside of the parameters of knowing anything. You're just kind of, who's to say? And you do hear a lot of sailing times when people go, oh, the southern Pacific is just massive, and people make mistakes because I think they're like, wait, we were going this speed for this amount of time, so how could we not be at our destination? Because how do you measure it? How can you click mileage or nautical miles when you're what are your landmarks to go off of? And so I do think there's so much that we don't know, and this would also lead me to believe that in the north there's land masses that we don't know, and the south, right? Extra territories. And I don't know what direction there are these things, but I think to the north I believe there's stuff that they're not showing. All of this, it's just like ruining buildings. You're like, why are you guys doing that? You know, why are you inflating the size of countries? Like, why are you guys doing that? Is there something you don't want us to see up there? And I think it's exactly what it is they don't want us to know about everything. All right, let me show you some stuff about Orrey, since I was talking about that too. Okay, so this is an Orrey, Orrey. And I don't know why it says Orrey design, but it's just Orrey. So I think something happens to at least my mind. Again, once you're in the trance, I don't know how this works, but this is just the 6 planetary. You go, wait a second. So all these things all have independent motion and all sort of stay in this perfect equilibrium because of some gravitational force. 93 million miles. Here, let me get Bethany. She looked some of this stuff up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so Beth is this is Dr.
Good morning.
Bethany Hathaway.
Oh, no, I didn't put on like a suit jacket or anything. So
yeah, where's your white lab coat?
Believe me. I had said something about football fields. Oh, did I miss the arrays?
Right here.
Oh, look.
No, I'll have it going in the background. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things, I'm sure there's a lot to say about those that you already did, but one of the things that is ridiculous is even if you can make a thing spin around like this thing, your array, it's so not to scale, right? And that reminded me of the football field example, where they try to explain the distance between these bodies using a football field. Well, I was a little bit wrong, but I also found out some more ridiculous things. So part of the confusion with the football field is they don't do something really concrete like make inches into miles, you know, like a little key like on a map that we can understand, you know, 1 inch is so many miles. Instead, there's a second level of measurement here, and that is that
astronomical unit.
And that 93 million miles is 2 yards on the football field. And then Theron's point that the size of these objects, right, is just so ridiculously small compared to the distance between them that to think they'd have any effect on each other is ridiculous. For example, we're talking a grain of sand for the Earth versus a gas ball the size of a dime. Okay, grain of sand, dime. And then
how far apart?
How far apart? So I was wrong when I said it goes off the football field, but that's fixed with these astronomical units because it hides the ridiculousness of it. So let's not do Pluto because that's not technically a planet, but Neptune is 60 yards from the sun. And remember, every 2 yards is 93 million miles. So whatever 60 times 93 million miles is, that's the distance we're supposed to imagine between the sun and Neptune. And then imagine that there is a pull between these two teeny tiny objects.
So
Neptune.
Wait. Oh, I'm just going to clear things up.
Okay.
I think you've lost some people.
Okay.
The sun is a dime.
Yep.
60 yards away, which is 60 times 93 million miles, there is something that's a size of a
R. It's the size of the R in the word trust on a penny.
Okay, tiny, whatever. That's just obscure and stupid.
Exactly.
Tiny, yeah.
So obscure
whatever,
and stupid.
a dot. It's a dot.
Yeah.
A dot of an eye. That is pulled to something 93 million miles times 60. That's pulled to a dime. Okay. I don't care how damn heavy that dime is. Plus, it's a ball of gas that's exploding. So tell me how heavy gas is again.
In the vacuum of space. There's no pulling or pushing on anything. There's no weight.
But see, this is where I know I'm preaching to the choir with you guys, but like, people believe this shit.
I know. I know.
This is like literally most of the people believe this.
And okay, it gets better. It gets better. Okay. Okay, sorry. I can't help but
Tap
he was
me.
telling me to stop doing this, but I can't help myself.
No,
Okay.
she was going like this to me, and I was like,
Oh,
okay.
I was not leaning on you.
Yes, you did, like a broski
I'm
doski
a
thing.
little bit taller than there.
Stop.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Oh, what happened?
No, we're gonna redo it. We're gonna we gotta
I
have the
really
Orrey in
like
the
the
background.
background.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is my screensaver now.
Okay, now this is better. This is really great. Now, just when you thought that NASA had all of their math perfectly together so that these things somehow in some mathematical equation make sense, no. Listen to the distance of the asteroid belt. Some of these are in ranges, okay, that apparently move, or it's just the size of the belt. The asteroid belt is located between 4 and 8 yards from the sun. So that's 2 to 4 93 million miles. How can you have something that big or moving within that range? 2 to 4 times 93 million miles. That's not like, oh, give or take a few feet.
Yeah.
Give or take a few miles. No, give or take 2 to 4, 93 million miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm trying to think of this is what I want to talk about. So.
Oh, you're talking about, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I can share this, but if you put in, football example of, has this, this lovely here with this really lovely key to what an astronomical unit is and how these all are spaced out.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let me just do something about the moon because I think you do this with me. Okay.
Okay.
So let's go back to the Earth one. All right. Here's an example of the Earth. Zooming around. Okay. One thing that I've noticed with, okay, that's confusing because one in the background is whatever, Mars or something. But the silver ball is the moon, and of course that's Earth. Now, as we watch the sun rise, its path through the sky is in the winter. It's very it rises and sets quite far south, and then migrates. So then it goes
More overhead.
yeah, and then right back down. Okay, and we watch that progression very slowly, day by day, inch its way up. Right now, it's inching its way away from us. Okay, and that's called the elliptic. However, for the moon, what we watch is the moon.
Good point.
When it's rising, is very far. As it's waxing, is very far south, and as it comes, when it's waning, it's way the hell into the north. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you look at this example, even this
in a
Orrey,
couple weeks, it goes wah, wah, wah,
right,
wah, with those arcs.
yeah, its path does what the sun does, but it does it like, yeah, within 14 days.
Yeah.
Right. And so this example of the Orrey doesn't even show the moon moving out of a very, very consistent elliptic. Okay.
Besides it not rotating, but I'm sure you talked about that too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What the moon? Of course, the moon doesn't rotate, right? Yeah, it's in lock orbit, guys. There's so many layers. There's so many layers of stupid. Well, I'll just keep it going. It's a comedy show.
I'm glad you can seriously and calmly explain this because I just start either getting too animated or just start laughing.
You know what's funny is with my friend, I was just talking about the elliptic of because we watched the moon was waxing or waning. It was waxing, and it was very visible, and it was way north. And I was like, look at that, Steve. And I said, remember, it was rising. It was just over there, and now it's over here in the elliptic. And he's like, I could tell I lost him. So I was trying to say, there's no moon model that actually shows why the moon is also doing what the sun does, is drastically moving in that, but very quickly. And I lost him. He didn't even know the stars were rotating around Polaris. And so I think that's it. It's a lack of education. Because I go, if anyone actually learned this, again, after their elementary years, no problem. You can convince a child this is true, and that's what they do. They never revisit it. It falls right out of their brain. Everyone,
Or
all the
if they do,
smart people say it.
well, wait, you can take astronomy or something, but then it's so far removed from any like observational skills. You're just studying things in books and equations and stuff that they can get away with astronomy late in life. And then this part, the like supposed physical reality, they get rid of early on.
All right, so there we go.
And that brings me, talking about your friend there, reminds me too that people aren't observing these things. They not only are they not thinking about it when they do look, but people aren't even looking at the sky, or they can't because it's come down.
We host people here at our house every once in a while. Actually, quite often. We have an Airbnb. Mm-hmm. Well, they're your parents' Airbnb.
Yeah.
And one thing people always say to us is, "Wow, the stars."
Yeah.
And we're always like, "Yeah, they're always there. Is this the first night you've noticed?" And
but people act like it's just this incredible, rare
like,
thing.
You have stars, such great stargazing, and we forget that we have great stargazing because it's just like, isn't that what the sky looks like? And I don't think that's what the sky looks like for most people, judging from their reaction. And they also think we live in like the bush, like deep woods, Maine.
Oh yeah, when really,
like
now that we've lived here for a while, we're like, oh, we're like the Nancy Pants coastal folk.
We're not even like the inlanders. Yeah, we heat with wood. That's great. That's like.
But they're like shocked.
Yeah, that's like minimal. We have chickens. Yeah. So what? Okay, to be Mainer.
Oh.
Out there, you got to like sawmill your own lumber. Okay.
Yeah, and what about
And you got to
talk about our new German friend for a second?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we met these German people, and there was a big language barrier, but the guy was at least willing to discuss. But there were a couple really funny things because he couldn't say it in any seriousness or really break it down because of the language barrier. One of them was he comes out, he's looking at our young children, not even what I would say is school age, and he's like, "No school?" And I was like, "School at home," So we talked about that, and then we're like, "Homeschool in Germany," And he's like, "No," and he talks with his wife in German. They discuss, "No, not far. Germany, tight." So he started talking about how the only reason apparently he could think up to homeschool was that you were far out somewhere. So he was saying that everybody lives close together. He's like, Germany, small roots, the bus, catch, children. I can't even say it seriously. But the verb he came up with was catch, which I just thought was like so perfect.
Oh yeah.
And then the second thing was, of course, Theron tries to start talking to him about the government. And this guy was totally willing to talk, but it's just like...
Oh, yeah. He was talking about homeschooling. And I said, do they let them homeschool? He said, no. And I said, do Germans trust the government? And...
he's like, most,
yeah.
some not.
I think probably he just said, "Oh, we trust them to make the best decisions for us."
Yeah, and so then what he eventually started explaining is like, mostly trust government, people make good choice. Us,
right.
Hope is good, So basically, for what I get from that is they're just not very involved in even thinking about it or worrying about it. It's like, oh, hope they make some good choices. Doesn't make any difference, right? Oh, he did talk about COVID a little bit too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So he seemed to indicate that was like a terrible time and they're finally getting out and getting to do this trip.
Yeah.
But
if it wasn't such a bad language barrier, I would have visited the Holocaust stuff and picked his brain on it, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
I thought maybe he was still gonna try.
It was too much talking between them to like figure out words. But one thing I've asked German people before is about the Holocaust and Hitler, and they're like, oh yeah. We didn't know it was happening. Usually it's their parents. Their parents said they didn't know what was happening until after the war. And I'm like, well, have you ever considered about, even though they were there, they didn't know what was happening right under the nose. What if it didn't happen at all? Would that be a relief to Germans to go like, oh, we don't need to carry this guilt? around. And that's the reality of it is they not only is the Holocaust made up, they've made a whole country feel a sense of guilt for something they didn't do. Isn't that even the more astounding part than pulling off the trickery of it is to make the Germans feel bad for something they didn't do. Now, I would say it's close to white guilt. It's like trying to saddle us with guilt for things. We're like, what do you? Okay, if you say so, if you say we're this bad, but I don't feel that I'm that bad. Again, could people really go through with that type of atrocity? No, they couldn't. That's I won't get this. Shouldn't be a Holocaust video, but because we had Germans staying, we had to talk to them, and these other Germans thought I was crazy for questioning it. But then again, you go to jail in Germany for questioning the Holocaust, and so you learn that that's just not something you do. So anyhow, hopefully you like these Orreys and different things, and I'll sign out.